This is how to make a wooden speaker by Roman Rojas from Joliet Central High School in my Engineering and Architecture 2 class. To start my project off, I use AutoCAD. It's a software in our computers in Joliet Central. And in AutoCAD, you can make the designs and you can make like the cutout pieces for your speaker. And the dimensions, our teacher gave us dimensions and examples to go off by to make the actual like pieces for our speaker. As you can see right here, these are the dimensions that he gave us. So in AutoCAD, we pretty much just made this in AutoCAD and put it under a cut layer so we can cut it off a piece of wood. As you can see in the picture, like there's dimensions and measurements that we have to go by to actually make it like so that when we put the pieces together, it actually fits within each other, so like it's not just really weird and wonky. And as you can see, there's like little general notes and instructions that our teacher gave us so we can go off of. And this is just pretty much like the background so we can just build off of. And the designs, like our teacher gave us free will with the designs. We weren't like limited to only certain designs. We could go off on whatever we wanted to do with our designs. And I'm gonna get into that the next slide because I have a whole bunch of pictures of the designs that I use. And images, we can use images as our designs. You have to trace over them. I'm gonna get into that next slide. As you can see, these are the designs that I chose to do. I got the Steelman logo for a school, the Bears logo for my team, my football team. We got the Barcelona logo, because I support Barcelona, and the left and right designs. I just had some freestyle. They're not really anything, but I just thought they were kind of cool, so I put them on there. And you can see on the right, those are the actual images that I chose to use and put them over so I can trace over within AutoCAD, and like made it to where the laser cutter could like cut them out, or the engrave layer in AutoCAD, I can make it to where it engraves into the wood, not cut it out. And our teacher wanted us to put our name, our class, and our period and the day on the bottom piece. And also he wanted us to have where every side can emit light for later, so when we put LED lights into the speaker. But all these little holes have a nice like even consistent space between them, so like when the laser cutter is cutting into the wood, it doesn't just make a big hole because of how close the circles are to each other. Getting the pieces for your speaker. So in AutoCAD, we set up the drawings. So once we complete it, you see how in the wood that all the designs are really close to each other. In AutoCAD, we have to do that, and so we put into like a 20 by 20 inch like little box, and we put them tight together so we don't waste material of the wood. And so we did that in AutoCAD, and then once we did that, we would have to print it first so our teacher can look over for any mistakes that we have in our designs. This is just to make sure that we have everything correct and that we don't find mistakes after we cut it out and waste even more material or wood. And so after that, and then we put it all together really close so we don't waste material, as I said. We send it to the laser cutter, and the laser cutter has a computer next to it, and so we would open up our own designs for the laser cutter to cut out. And as you can see, this is my design being cut out, or after cut out. And yeah, we check for mistakes with the printed out paper of my designs to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Getting it together. So our teacher wanted us, Mr. West actually, not our teacher, but Mr. West wanted us to dry fit, and that's when we put all the pieces together without glue or anything holding it, just to make sure that all the pieces can fit within each other. This is just a double check to see if anything's missing or anything's wrong, just to make sure before we start gluing, make sure everything's correct. And then, as you can see in this bottom picture, we put the speaker kit, like the speaker itself, into the actual wood. As you can see in the top one, there's holes for the speaker to go through, and we just have to push through. Like the speaker itself had little notches that once you put it in the hole, it doesn't come out. So we just have to press it in there. Just make sure we're careful with not breaking the wood. And also, I forgot to mention earlier that In some of these holes, the wood wouldn't go out like fully. So when the laser cutter cut them, like the circles, the circle part didn't come out fully. So I would have to use like a paper clip to poke the holes out. So I'm just letting you know, if you're doing this and some of the holes don't come out, use a paper clip or even a drill to make sure those wood pieces are fully out and the light can go through the holes. But yeah, we put the speaker through the hole, and then we can start gluing. Also, one more thing, make sure that if you ever buy this speaker kit, which I doubt that you will, but if you buy this exact one, make sure that this speaker kit is spacing the correct way and that you put it in correctly. And once you start gluing, make sure that the pieces that you glue are facing the correct direction, and make sure everything looks good. Make sure you're gluing the right face in, and make sure everything's going in the right place. While gluing, if you run out of time, you can just put a couple books like into a square and put your speaker in, so that overnight when it's like drying up, it doesn't move. But make sure that top piece is on, so that if it does move, it doesn't really mess up, and that top piece can hold it in place and make sure everything is square. But gluing shouldn't be too hard. I mean, it was pretty easy when I was gluing. Everything went well and it went great. And then after you finish gluing and everything is looking good, you can connect the speaker. You can put the LED lights in. Putting the LED lights in is pretty simple. Just make sure before you glue to put the cord through for the LED lights, depending on what LED lights you have. But if there's a cord, if you go back to the first slide, there's a design, or like there's a piece of wood that has a little notch in it, so that the wire for the LED lights can get through. And this is just to show you, if you look at that back piece part, there's a little hole for the LED lights, or just for the speaker itself, depending on what you get. But just for wires to go through the speaker, and for you to like plug it in or plug anything in. Once you get everything set up, you got the wires in, you got everything correct and everything in, the LED lights, the speaker. Test it out, make sure it works, make sure everything's going well, make sure that everything is correct, and find it dandy. And if everything was well and everything did go well, thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. West, for the help. Thank you, Julius Central. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. But yeah, it wasn't too hard of a project. It was pretty easy when I did it. It was nice and fun. It was just nice to be able to put my ideas out there and put my designs and my just ideas in general. Just put it on a piece of canvas, put it out there. And yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for giving me your time.